Hey guys, and welcome back to another video. Excuse my poor green screening. I am still learning how to use it. My camera sucks for some reason, and it's very frustrating. All the settings always reset, and it bothers me every time, and then I have to try to fix it. That's not the point. Today, we are going to be talking about devil fruits. And the reason is because I started thinking real hard after One Piece chapter 1017, and now even more after One Piece chapter 1018. So if you haven't read either of them, spoilers, just fair warning. So the focus of this video is going to be Luffy's devil fruit, the Gum Gum fruit, who's who, what information he may or may not know, what was so special about Luffy's devil fruit that the world government were like shipping it and had somebody guarding it. Why was it so important that who's who ended up going to jail after losing it? These are the things that we're going to be talking about. So if you like anything I have to say, and you want to have a conversation with me about this subject, let me know down below in the comment section, and leave a like if you enjoyed this video. Let's get started. Alright, so I have this sheet of paper. So, origin of devil fruits. Do I want to start with that? Yeah, let's start with that, because that kind of ties into my thoughts. Now, I have no way of knowing if this is an original thought, original theory, or whatever, but I'm going to fix my mic a little bit. I'm going to bring that in here a little bit here. But my theory here is, now again, my quote-unquote theory is that devil fruits are sort of like, kind of like, black blades with haki. Now, this kind of ties around to Luffy's devil fruit. What is so special about it? Why is it special? Was it special because there's something very specific about its abilities? Which I don't think is the case. I think it is just a average, weird devil fruit that like Luffy just maxes to the max, and it's like it's special because he's currently using it, but the powers themselves are not necessarily special. Now that could be one thing. It could be the previous user had it and did some really bad stuff, so the world government wanted to get it out of hands of ordinary people, and they wanted to maybe give it to one of their people, because a lot of times, so especially in the Marines, devil fruits are very specifically chosen to be given to very specific officers. So that could be one thing. But I think it's a bit more symbolic than the idea of like Luffy's devil fruit being something very specifically special in terms of the abilities that it gives you. Now, it could be a matter of the previous user. Maybe it's not so much the powers themselves, but maybe the user was a particular trouble for the world government at one point in time, and they were just like, yo, get it out of here. We're not interested. We're going to lock it away. Who's who? Bring it to us. We're getting it out of here. And then, obviously, Shanks and his crew stole it, and the rest is history. It could be that, if it's not the actual powers, but if it's not the actual powers, and it's not the previous user, or at least the immediate previous user, then what else could it be? And I think it goes a little further back than just whoever had it last. And that's why I bring up the creation of devil fruits, and maybe, just maybe, that they're very similar to haki imbued weapons, and more specifically the black blades that are permanently haki infused. Now, one thing about devil fruits is that they are called devil fruits because people in the One Piece world believe that devils literally reside in them. I don't think that's the case. I think that is just a fairy tale, and it's just not true at all. I think that's just an oversimplification of what exactly is going on here. Now, we don't know a lot about where devil fruits exactly come from. That's something that we'll eventually learn from Vegapunk, maybe, or at least get more pieces building to it via Vegapunk. But we do know that they were around in the Void Century, or at least 800 years ago, and that they are just weird anomalies that are still today being picked apart and tried to figure out. So here's my ultimate thought here. I think that devil fruits are the leftovers of people from the Void Century and way back when, imbuing their kind of like, maybe not haki per se, but their essence into fruits. And for whatever reason, we don't know. We wouldn't know for a while now, probably. Not until we get to Laugh Tale. But I think that devil fruits themselves are leftovers from maybe a war, or maybe some kind of, maybe it's from the, like, whatever happened in the Void Century where it's like, oh, the world government suddenly showed up. Maybe there was a war. And I think that there's something very, very special about the devil fruits, that it's less about their powers and more about the willpower, maybe hockey, maybe something else that has been imbued, but like more of a symbolic passing on, kind of like the will of D, only less specific to a letter, I guess, right? So what about Luffy's devil fruit? Obviously, the devil fruits, like, we don't know if they just appear or where, if they come from a tree specifically or somewhere, whatever. Obviously, they reincarnate into any fruit that is nearby, more or less. Because we've seen on what was it, Punk Hazard with Smiley, whatever the, like, the goo monster's devil fruit. It just kind of showed up in an apple that was already picked from a tree. It wasn't like alive per se. I mean, it was dead by all accounts, as much dead as an apple can be once it's already been picked. So it's not like it was just like coming off a tree, although they could probably form on a tree. So I just realized I got a little bit distracted. What about Luffy's devil fruit? Why is it so specifically special? Now, I think it is tied to Joy Boy. Maybe Joy Boy imbued his essence, and kind of like a hey, like, last ditch, like, I wasn't able to do my thing. The will of my will being passed on through this means. And it's not so much that he's residing in the devil fruit. It's more of a symbolic thing, like I said. And I think it's coincidental, very, very coincidental. I don't think that the title of Joy Boy is directly tied to the devil fruit, but I think it's very, very coincidental that Luffy would become the next Joy Boy, and then also got something that was connected to the original Joy Boy. And that's why it's so particularly special about him having it, because it's like two sides, like the two pieces of the puzzle have come together, and it's like the past and the present have finally converged, and maybe that's why Luffy is ultimately destined to be the hero, more or less. And up until now, we've had other Joy Boys over the last X amount of centuries, 800 centuries, and it just doesn't seem to work, whether it's, oh, they don't have Poseidon, or maybe they didn't have the devil fruit, or I don't think that the gum fruit is necessary to be Joy Boy. I think it's just coincidental and perfect that he'd have it. But I definitely do think that that's part of it. We've seen Emu kind of collecting things revolving around Joy Boy, whether it was like a picture of Shirahoshi, who is Poseidon, or Luffy's wanted poster, and that giant straw hat. I think that's definitely obviously connected to it. I think that at one point, the gum fruit, which is symbolically passing on Joy Boy's will in another form, was going to be locked away in that vault too. And then obviously Shanks got it, and the rest again is history. So I think that is specifically why the world government is so interested in Luffy and so interested in the gum fruit. And again, it's not the fruit's power. It's not like Joy Boy could stretch necessarily, but maybe it's his flexibility. Maybe the devil fruits take on a power that is reminiscent of the imbuer's personality. So Joy Boy was looking for freedom and all that kind of stuff, or at least in part. And maybe the flexibility of rubber is the ultimate, like, it's literally flexible, and it is Luffy looking for freedom now, and the flexibility of being able to, like, kind of just do whatever. Meanwhile, maybe something like the Flare fruit or Flame fruit or whatever that Ace and then now Sabo have was like, oh, whoever imbued their soul or their essence onto that specific fruit in their originally, maybe they had a very fiery passion or something very generic like that. Maybe there was something about that person that maybe had something fire related or whatever. So that's kind of where I was getting at with the black blades, because black blades are you specifically pouring your hockey into the blade, and then it becomes permanently black, and that's super special and very rare. So I think that analogy is very apt and very similar, even though they might be completely different in that way. So I think that they're in general very similar. The devil fruits obviously have very specific powers each, but maybe offer the eater, the user, kind of a little bit of a symbolic essence of the original users, or people that were around when they first came to be. Honestly, that's all the theory in my head. It was not a fully thought out theory. I'm sure that somebody maybe has a better idea or a more fleshed out version of this somewhere on the internet. No ideas are truly original. But it was something that came to mind, and I maybe I could do something. Maybe I could think a bit more about it and come back with something a bit more fleshed out. But in the crux, I think that devil fruits originally were created by humans or people in general, pouring their essence. Maybe Conqueror's hockey. Maybe it's just something else. Maybe anybody could do it, or maybe there's a very specific process to doing it. But I could definitely see it being the kind of thing where, back in the Void Century, maybe during the war with the original world government when it formed, I could see it being the kind of thing where the devil fruits were used, and ultimately it's a will being passed on through generations, and Luffy just coincidentally got Joy Boys, the one that Joy Boy created before he passed away. That's a thought. Let me know what you guys thought. I think down below in the comment section, though. Do you think there's any validity to it? Maybe that's the information that who's who had prior to being arrested. Maybe that's the reason why he was arrested, because it's so important, because that symbolically the Gum Gum fruit is Joy Boy in a sense. Let me know what you guys think down below in the comment section. Sorry for the background. I'm trying to green screen. I will see you guys in another video. So long.